All right, so our lesson today is multiplying by 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. This goes with NS5-49, the page that you have in your booklet. So when we're multiplying by 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000, we're going to actually start by talking about skip counting. So when we are skip counting and we're trying to find the answer to 3 times 4, we have the option of counting by threes 4 times, 3, 6, 9, 12, or counting by fours 3 times, 4, 8, 12. So we have both options. So how would you find 10 times 12 by skip counting? We have the option of counting by 10s 12 times or by 12s 10 times. Is it easier to skip count by 10 12 times or to skip count by 12 10 times? We learned way back in kindergarten and grade 1 how to count by tens. And it's fairly easy because when we're counting by tens, 10, 20, 30, it's very similar to counting by ones, 1, 2, 3. But when you're counting by 12s, you need to count the tens and then the twos. So 12, then I have to add 10 and then another 2, which is 24. Then I have to add 10 and another 2, which is 36. It's a little bit trickier, especially as you get into higher numbers. So it's most likely easier to count by tens than it is to count by 12s. Keeping that in mind then, 13 times 10, I'm not going to count by 13s. It's easier to count by 10s. So I'm going to count by 10s 13 times. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130. If you look closely, the number 13 is in the number 130. And there's 1 0 in the number 130, just like there's 1 0 in the number 10. 100 times 11, we're going to do the same thing, only this time we're going to count by 100. And we're going to count by 100 11 times. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, 1,100. And again, the number 11 appears in the answer of 1,100. And there are 2 zeros, just like there are 2 zeros in 100. So we can make a rule then. To multiply by 10, you add 1 0, just like we discovered back here when we added the 1 0 on this question. And to multiply by 100, you add 2 zeros because there are 2 zeros in 100. If we use that, we can say that there are 3 zeros in 1,000. So to multiply by 1,000, you add 3 zeros onto the end. And to multiply by 10,000, because there are 4 zeros in 10,000, you would add 4 zeros to the end of your answer. So let's try that out now. 6 times 10, or 10 times 6, there's 1 0 in 10, so we add 1 0 into the answer. So the answer becomes 60. 6 times 100, we put the 6 down, and we add 2 zeros onto the end to find 600. Multiplying by 1,000, 1,000 has 3 zeros, so we add 3 zeros. Multiplying by 10,000, we have to add 4 zeros. We need to also look now at the fact that we always group numbers 3 digits at a time. So when we're writing a number, we need 3 digits, and then we need to place a comma, or we need to rewrite the question with a space, or the answer with a space. So we're going to try that now with a slightly larger number, such as 34. So we're going to write 34 and add 1 0 to find that 34 times 10 is 340. 34 times 100, add 2 zeros. So we have 3,400. 34 times 1,000, we're going to add 3 zeros. And I really probably, as I'm writing those 3 zeros, should leave a space, knowing that I need to, starting from the right, moving to the left, have our numbers grouped in threes with a space in between. So multiplying by 34 times 10,000, I know that I'm going to need to add 4 zeros, and then I need to group them in 3. So there's my 3. I'm going to leave a space to put my 4th one, and then I'm going to write my 34. So 340,000. We have some larger numbers. I'm going to look at D because D has a number that's much bigger. So 753 times 100. No difference. I'm going to write 753 and add my 2 zeros onto the end. I need to check. There's 3 digits. So I need to either add a comma or rewrite with a space. Here, these questions have zeros in both sides of the multiplication sign. So 400 has 2 zeros, 60 has 1 zero, which means that I'm going to need a total of 3 zeros in my answer. Then I'm going to multiply my 4 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24. And I have a slight space in there because I'm grouping from the right to the left in threes. 4,300 has 2 zeros, 100 has 2 zeros, for a total of 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, space, my 4th zero, and then 1 times 43 is 43. So 430,000. 10,000 has 4 zeros. 7,100 has 2 zeros. I add that up. We have 6 zeros altogether. 1, 2, 3, space. 4, 5, 6, space. 1 times 71. 71 million is the answer that I end up with. And that's the end of our lesson.